galactic heroes. But it's Christmas time, so we're going to the mall. Welcome to the Joy of Wargaming's Christmas special. Unlike any Christmas special you are likely to see on TV this year, we are going to do it as an actual Christmas special. That's right, if you don't have a nativity scene, if you do not explicitly mention that today is the day we commemorate the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry it's got the trappings, but it's just not about the true meaning of Christmas. And what could be more about the true meaning of Christmas than trying to save Christmas? And we're going to save this little creche. We're going to put it over here in Astra Tortuga. Astra Tortuga is normally a wretched hive of scum and villainy. We call it that because it is a pirate den for our skirmish wargaming, and also normally this little guy is here in the lobby, but they've done it upright for Christmas. Here's our nativity scene, and it is guarded by Robo Kringle. Robo Kringle is a really good guy, not to be confused with any other robot Santa that you may be familiar with, who is explicitly designed to mock our blessed holiday. Robo Kringle here is going to start off shut down up here. Well, where do we put him? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it a little random. We're going to designate a couple of points. We'll roll some dice. We'll get to that in a second. But first I want to show you who would ever want to destroy the nativity scene. This is our goal here. We're going to send a team in to wreck the nativity scene. It's a bunch of filthy atheists who are really mad that we're enjoying the holiday, and they're going to come in. So let me show you those guys real quick. You're a mean one, Mr. Xenogrinch. Here they are, big, green, and nasty, and they hate the spirit of Christmas. They are going to be trying to destroy that nativity creche. And to streamline things, this is 1, 2, 3, and then 4 cards. These 3 are mooks. Galactic Heroes really shines when you're controlling 5 figures. If you're doing 10, it gets to be a bit much, so I do 4 on 4 as a solo gamer. And then I streamline things a little bit by giving all of these aliens the same 3 abilities. They are all fast, they're all armored, so they are -1 to be hit, and they are at -1 on their wound rolls. Now, normally, that incurs a movement penalty, but because these guys are fast, that negates the movement penalty. So they're fast and armored. They move at the same speed. Cost 1 extra skill. They're all brawlers, so they will re-roll melee rolls. And then the queen here, big, mean, and ugly here in the center, she is a veteran, rolling d12s. She is also a leader, so she can give a little boost to the recovery for any of her little minions within 6 inches. The regular guys here on the side, they don't have any special abilities. And then the little guys here, as I said, they are 3. They're rolling d8s. These guys will be rolling d10s. The little guys will be rolling d8s. They're grunts. They are also small, so they only have 2 wounds. They are at -1 when they deliver a wound. They're at -1. Like if you take a wound from one of these guys, you get a -1 in your wound check. And then they also are -1 when you try to shoot at them. And then let's take a look at Robo Kringle. Out of the way, losers. Robo Kringle here is going to start the game, as I said, on the table, and he is armored, so he will be a little slow, and he does have 2 blasters with a range of 6 inches for short, and if he's firing beyond from 6 to 12, he will be at -1. So let's figure out where, obviously, the Xenogrinches are coming in through the front door. See, I use metal washers for my bases. Down here is the front door of Astra Tortuga, and that's where our Xenogrinches are going to start. I've got 6 tokens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 behind the information desk. I'm going to roll a d6 to find out where Robo Kringle starts. On a 6, he is going to start behind the desk. To keep it interesting, I'm going to roll a d6 for each of the reinforcements at the start of turn number 2. These guys are going to move 5 inches. They're going to book it. This is probably a bad place. You really want Robo Kringle to block their passage directly to the nativity. And then our reinforcements 1 and 2, these will be kind of out of the way. It'll be a race to catch up, and the others are kind of over there. I'll show you at the start of turn number 2. For turn number 1, I'm going to deal off 4. Robo Kringle is going to go last, which is even worse. And then there's a lot of different ways to play this game solo. I just deal out the cards, so that's for the 2 regular xenomorphs. That's for the little guys, and then 3 of diamonds for the queen. So this presents Robo Kringle with a real conundrum. Does he use all 5 inches of his movement to try to get out ahead of these guys? Or does he just start plinking away at these little fellas who obviously are coming to do him harm? Now, he is behind hard cover, so he's got that going for him, but he's going to have to use an aim action to negate their size penalty, meaning he hits, if he uses every action to shoot, he's going to hit on a 5-up. And I think that's the way we go. With a result of a 10, he gets the hit. And then he makes his wound roll. Now, he just has regular blasters. But because these guys are small, let's go to the tape. Check our, remembering is hard when you've got so much to remember. They are at -1 on their melee rolls and -1 to shoot. But you just make a standard wound roll. So let's find out what he does. And with the result of a 10, he is able to put this closest one completely out of action. 1 Xenogrinch down, and we are on to turn number 2. Now, the first thing we need to do on turn number 2, and here are our heroes 3. That's right. The crew of the Black Raven is on the case. They are here to save Christmas. This is Lieutenant Dane. He's a longtime companion of Cobalt 15. Lieutenant Dane is a brawler. He is a street fighter. He's got an auto pistol and a knife. Cobalt 15 is a robot. He's the leader, but he is soulless, never shaken. +1 to shoot at him. He just kind of hulks around. He does have armor, so he's a little bit slower. He's only moving 2 inches on an action, and he has energy blasters in his hands. So he always has a close combat weapon as well. And then the last one is Monk E, also a robot. He has an arc thrower. Everybody within 1.5 inches of him, when he detonates, takes a wound. And then he does have to spend a full turn to reload. He is soulless. What else we got? He's a sprinter. He gets a free 3 inches of movement per turn. And he's a leaper, so he can jump up 2 inches, which is really only important for the balconies there. So let's find out where these guys come on the table. But before we do, our Queen Redditor still has to go. She moves 5 inches up to there. Playing solo, two-fisted, trying to do right by both sides, both our Redditors and our heroes, to give yourself some interesting conundrums, some interesting choices to have to make. I use random allocation of starting points. So you can see I've got a token 1, 2, 3 is over here. So we're either in bed, we're hanging out in the lounge, playing some Xbox, in the Black Raven and appearing over here in the back door, maybe shopping down here for some last-minute Christmas supplies. And then where's 5? Oh, 5 is filing a flight plan. So we're going to roll for all 3 of our reinforcements. Notice there's no 6. If I roll a 6, you're going to have to wait till the next turn to come on. So on a 4, Lieutenant Dane will appear down here in the store. And then for our Cobalt 15, he is not going to appear this turn. And Monk E will appear on a 2, and that's going to be back here. Monk E is, I guess, sitting on the sofa recharging his batteries. Cobalt must be babysitting Magic Space Baby, and he doesn't realize that there's doings afoot. Maybe he'll come on next turn. I'll leave the chips there just because. So we got to deal out some cards here, and I'm going to deal out my heroes first. Dane is going to go last. Our monkey is kind of low. The Robo-Kringle can go whenever he wants. And then for the aliens, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So we get a reload, which doesn't do him any good. We get a 10. For the queen, we're going to get a 6. And for that last guy, we're going to get a 9. Looking at the order of operations, that means Robo-Kringle now does have the option of wheeling around here, but he doesn't have a line of sight yet. Does he want to just pick off another one of these little guys? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. He's going to go first, and if he... Wait a minute. If we wait until the 7, he will get an extra shot. So let's do that. We're going to start off with our 2. So 9 and 10 go first, which means these 2 guys are going to race for the nativity. This guy moves, then this guy moves. Then our wild card. We could have gone on the jack and gotten a +1. Instead, we're going on the 7. That earns him a reroll. Robo-Kringle trying to take out another one of these mooks. He gets it. Wow. Is this die loaded? I swear, it's got all the numbers from 1 to 20. The goofy little symbol there is a 1, by the way. So he gets a big hit, and then he's going to roll for the wound. And that's not a big one, but he does have the reroll. So we'll use that to score a 7. And the little guy is going to be, on a result of a 7, he will be wounded, which knocks him down. And remember, he only has 2 wounds, so we're going to knock him down. He'll have to recover on his action. Now we have, this is where things get a little interesting, the 6 of hearts and the 6 of diamonds. Hearts goes before diamonds, so our queen is going to say, I would like to help you, but I've got bigger fish to fry. and she's going to race up there. Now our two little mooks get to go. The first one is going to make his recovery roll. And on a 9, he is going to... He's at -1 on this roll, meaning he is... when he's wounded, the 9 becomes an 8. Model may stand. He does get one more action, which will allow him to move 2 inches to here, but he is still wounded. And then this little guy can move... He's going to leap to attack Robo Kringle in melee. And we'll just put him up on the table. We'll put Robo Kringle here. And because our little guy is attacking... So for this turn, because he's attacking Robo Kringle behind the barrier, he's going to be at a total of -2. Remember, he's small, so he's at -1 on this attack. I forgot. I should have rolled a D8 for this guy on that wound check. They're really fragile. Well, I'm rolling a D8 now for the melee. And Robo Kringle gets a 7 versus a 2. That's a difference of 6. Now, because this is a wound check, it's the active party is the guy wounding. We roll for a 6. With a differential of 6, that 6 becomes, is that an 8? When you have 6 or more, it's +2. So this 6 becomes an 8. And on an 8, the little guy is wounded. So we'll knock him down, and he's going to have to spend an action to get back on his feet next turn. Then our Monk E gets to go, and he's going to race 5 inches. We're going to race up to here. We're going to ignore the little guy. We really want to get up so we can use his power to nuke all 3 of these guys. The last thing we have to do is, which brings us to Lieutenant Dane, activating on the 2. The last to go is going to slide on over here. He has a line of sight to this lead Xenogrinch. Roll 2 dice, pick 1. Even sliding up as far as he did, and he's just staying in the... You know what? I think maybe what we'll do is, he can move a total of 2.5 inches. Let's just bring him right out. He's a brawler. Come at me, bro. And then he can take the shot, and that way he is now at short range. He only needs a 5 to hit. I forgot with the little grunts, these guys are armored. They're at -1 to be hit. So we're going to roll 2 dice for Lieutenant Dane here with the gold cross. And we're going to pick the best one, and I think we'll take the 6. That is going to be a hit at close range, and because these guys are armored, that is also a -1 on the wound roll, so we'll see what the wound roll does. And with, we'll try that again, because it's a little cocked. It's a little cocked again. I guess we stick with gold cross. With a 2, I think does he just earn himself a shock marker? Wounding on a 2. He is now shaken. Boop, so we've slowed him down a little bit. And that's the end of the turn. Now we need to figure out where old Cobalt 15... Come on, shake a leg, buddy. We need your help over here. Going to roll the D6 and see where he comes on. On a result of a 1, he's going to appear way the heck back there. And it's up to you, Dane. It's all up to you. I had to zoom way out. Cobalt is way over there. Remember, he's slow. He only moves 2 inches on a turn, so it's going to take him a while. Let's deal out our cards to our heroes. And not only is he slow, but he's going to go last. All right, Kringle, and then our Monk E. We needed that wild card. There's a chance he can slow him way down. And Dane gets, +1 to shoot rolls. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and for the mooks. So for our, we get a 10. The Queen gets a 6 and a 6, and then our mooks get a 5. So we can kind of clear some of these out right away. We know Monk E is going to dash up with 2.5 inches, and then he's going to drop his nuke. He has it's basically an area taser. It's called an arc thrower. He's got a 3-inch template centered on himself, and it just automatically forces everyone within that 1.5 inches to make a wound roll. So that will be the Queen and this guy. They are at -1 on the wound rolls. So the Queen we're going to roll the blue die for the Queen. And we have a nice little catcher up there. So at -1, the Queen is going to take a wound. And it takes a full turn to reload this thing, so he's pretty vulnerable, but it knocks her down. This is very worthwhile. The 4 becomes a 3, which is a shock. What? And then, these guys, but it can't, so this guy got shot at, and he needed to move to the nearest cover, which actually would have dropped him back here, now that I think about it, which means he would take a hit from the arc thrower as well, and on a 4, he would receive a second shock. These guys both have to head for cover, so we're going to push them into here. They leap through the windows. This guy now has 2 shock, and this guy has 1. And that's where they will start their actions. We're just kind of like, that's fine. But before we get to their actions, old Robo Kringle is going to wind up spending both of his actions now to wheel on out. He's got to get caught up to where the action is. Maybe we'll let Cobalt clean up these little pukes over here. So at 5 inches, he can move to about right there, and that's going to be it for him. And I think, oh, and then Lieutenant Dane now gets to take his action. So he's at +1 on the shot. He can shoot at old Queenie here on the ground. But what we'll do is we'll move him up 2.5 inches to there, and then he'll take the shot. He's at +1 on the roll. Being wounded doesn't negate the armor. She is still armored, so he's still only going to be hitting on a 5 or better. With a 7, he hits, and she makes her wound roll and is going to be at -1 for the armor, but +1 because she's wounded. So she takes a shock as well, and I think she has to crawl back another inch or 2. So things are going pretty good for the heroes now. But unfortunately, it's time for the Xenogrinches to go. And this guy here with shock, do we just spend the whole turn and remove that shock? You can do that, you know. Let's do that. This guy's just going to go, hey, I don't want to be shocked anymore. I want to try to fight. And then that is on the 10. Then on the who else gets to go. Now we've got a pair of 6s. So this guy is going to get to make a recovery roll. And with a result of a 4, well, that's actually a result of a 2. He is still shaken. And that's his turn. And then the queen gets to go. She's going to make well, she gets free reload, not that it does really good. Her recovery check is going to be to try to stand up, and because she is at -2 on this roll, +1 because of the armor, that's still a 0, and she is removed from the game. Then we have the little pukes are going to go, and I think we're gonna try to get clever here. We're going to move this puke is. Should we run around? There is a second route, but Cobalt is over there. Here, let me swing it up so I can show you. All right, see, Cobalt's way over there. Now, normally, this little grunt could go 5, 5, 5, but then Dane's got plenty of time. So what do we do here? Losing the queen was huge. I think we really need to get these guys in and try to put some of the heroes down in close combat. Let's go ahead and do that. This guy's 2 inches away. Let's just jump on top of Robo Santa, and we're going to have a nice little melee. First, we'll roll for the recovery on this guy. And with a result of a 2, -1, that becomes a 1. Does the armor do any good on recovery? Armor, -1 to wound rolls. Doesn't do anything. Oh, but, you know, and again, these guys are brawlers, so he's out. In melee, these guys get a reroll. So this little guy, when he fought last time, I probably should have rolled the D8. Well, we're in combat now, and so this is what I'm talking about. Robo Kringle gets a 1. This little guy is a brawler. He rolled a 1. He gets the reroll, and let's try to roll it flat. And in this case, he's at -1 because of the wound, but he still wins by 2. When you win by 2, so here's he rolls a D8 on the wound check. And this is at a total of -2 because he's wounded and he's small. So that 4 becomes a 2, and Robo Kringle is now shocked. When you take a shock due to melee, you can switch places, which is exactly what our little grunt is going to do. And that would be the end of the turn, except old slow-walking Cobalt. Slow Joe is going to come 2.5 inches, and then he's going to come another 1.5 inches, and he's going to be kind of hiding back here in the hallway. Boop. Don't you just love these heavy terrain tables like this? That's the end of the turn. No reinforcements. We just got to deal out some cards. First 4 cards are going to go Cobalt, Kringle, Monk E, and then Dane. So Cobalt is going last. We get a heal 1 wound, which doesn't do any good. We get another queen, and we get a reroll for Dane. Looking good. Then we have 1, 2. We have 2 Xenogrinches, and then we have that last little grunt still standing, and he gets the reload. These poor aliens do not have any shooting things, and they keep getting free reloads. Although this is Galactic Heroes, it's not like a black powder game where it takes a long time to reload your stuff. Who gets to go first? It looks like it's going to be Robo Kringle and Monk E. Now, Monk E is going to spend his whole turn recharging, so he's done. And Robo Kringle, it doesn't really matter who goes first there, does it? Robo Kringle is now going to attack the little guy, who will be fighting at -1, but the little guy gets a reroll if he needs it. They're both at -1. And Robo Kringle is not doing so hot, is he? That is, wait, is that a 1 or that's a 20. Oh, maybe he's doing better than I expected. So 20 versus 7. I don't think there's any point in re-rolling for this guy. They're both at -1. That's a wash. It's going to be a differential of 3. And for the wound check, old Kringle gets now that's at -2. It's a 6, but it's at +1, so that becomes a 7. And I think that's the second wound, which puts... Yeah, the second wound is going to take him out. Remember, the grunts only have 2 wounds altogether. So, man, these poor I don't want to say poor Xenogrinches. The Xenogrinches were really within about a turn of winning the game, and once again, Lieutenant Dane just stood up, blocked the path, and man, how the tide has turned. Who gets to go now? We've got one Xenogrinch here that's going to be activating on a 7, and he gets to re-roll. We're going to try to recover, and with a 1, we're going to try again. And with a 7 on the recovery roll, that's a 7. However, it is at -2. Still shaking. For each wound, yeah. Needed an 8. That's going to be a problem. Man, 2 shaken really just... You know what? If we didn't do the recovery, if we just removed 1 each turn, he'd be fine now. And then what? This one goes bye-bye because we don't have any more grunts. And then Robo Kringle is... Wait, did I do that out of turn? Oh, no, this is Lieutenant Dane. It's his turn, and he's going to sidle on over here, and he's going to take a shot at this guy, let's say. And we'll work out all the details of that in a second. He rolls a 3. That's going to be a miss. It's short range, but the guy's in hard cover now. He's got to come out because he's got the mission there. And then he does get to go next. Well, doesn't matter because they are not interacting with each other in any way. We're going to go ahead and move our Cobalt is going to slide 4 inches down here. We'll bring him around the backside. We'll sweep around and get in front here just in case. Lieutenant Dane is on the job. So this guy's going to leap out. That costs him 1 inch to leap back out through the window. And then is he close enough to fight with Dane? He is. So we'll move him into position there. And it's going to be a fight. The blue die is for the guy in the blue jacket. I zoomed in here because things get a little fun. Lieutenant Dane is a brawler, which means he can re-roll this 6. And now he gets a 9, but our Xenomorph is also a brawler. He can re-roll his 9 if he wants to. Does he? Remember that he is at well, that's armor is -1 to be hit, but that's when you're being shot at. So this results in a tie, which means nothing happens. And I think we're not going to re-roll for this guy because it can only get worse for him. I mean, we're going to take the 1 in 10 chance that he wins. No, let's just wait until next turn, which begins right now. And a new turn means we need new cards. The first card is for Cobalt, way up there. He's moving on a 6. Old Kringle is moving on an 8. Monk E on a Queen, heal 1 wound. Well, he doesn't need that, but it's okay. He goes quick. And then Lieutenant Dane is going to be moving on an 8, although he is stuck in melee, so we know what he's doing. Then we're going to deal a card for this guy and then this guy. So we get a 10 there, and we get an ace, which he is going to use as the Queen of whatchamacallits. Which queen gives you the... I think it's the Queen of Spades. Not only that, but the Queen of Spades will let him go first, so he's going to take advantage of going first and eliminating all of these shock markers. He will be able to leap through the window and appear right there with the inline inside track now, trying to get around to their objective. That's the Queen. Then we have another Queen, and Monkey is not going to stand for that. This aggression will not stand. He's going to leap onto the back of this guy and start scrabbling away. Does he have any? This might be a mistake. He gets a free 3 inches of movement per turn. Forgot about that. That could have come in handy earlier, couldn't it? He is... This is going to be a straight die roll for him, and then the alien is going to get a reroll. I should probably declare. Let me declare one thing here. The blue die will be for Monkey. So Monkey is going to lose this fight by 2, and then he's going to take his wound check. Is going to be a straight wound check, and with a result of a 9, Monkey is now out of the fight. Oh man, that didn't go well. All right, we got to remember that. Who's next? We've got a 10 over here. So we're going to do a fight on this side. And again, Blue Jacket is the good guy, is the blue die. And with a difference of a 10 versus an 8, I mean, we can re-roll, but it's only going to get worse on this one, right? So -1 on the wound roll. Lieutenant Dane is rolling to hit him. And with a 2, this guy is now shocked. And Dane is going to go ahead and push him back. I guess it... Oh, no, yeah, Dane is absolutely going to push him back an inch. Because then Dane gets to go, and Dane is going to take his shot. Kablow, kablow. He can shoot at the guy now, and the hit on an 8 will be a hit, close range. Right, this guy is wounded. So now, this wound roll is going to be a straight wound roll. And with a result of a 4, he earns a second shock. He's going to have to dive into cover. And let's put him in cover over here. Yikes. They're shooting at me. So he's slowed down. He's at -2. And who gets to go next? I think I lost a card somewhere along the way. This guy. Oh, which one was it? It was that 8 of clubs. So this guy gets to go. And he's going to jump on... Well, wait a minute. Is he? Or are we going to move him 5 inches? Yeah, let's just run him 5 inches over here. So he's going to be right about there. I can kind of pivot a little bit more. Then it's going to be with the 8 of spades. Robo Kringle will get to go, and Robo Kringle can go 2.5 inches. No, he can only move 2 inches. So he can move to there, and then he can take a shot at this guy, but he's at long range. We're at -1. Do we just try to catch up to him, or do we take the shot? You know, I think we go ahead. Let's just go ahead and move up the extra 2 inches. So we can stay in line, because we have this other Xenogrinch right over here. And we don't want Dane to have to deal with both of them, so we're bringing reinforcements up. And then way over here, let's click, click, click. See where that 6 is? Cobalt is going to trundle on over another 4 inches to here. Come on, Cobalt. I'm going to laugh if he makes it over there. Dane's got to be wondering, where's my help here, guys? That is the end of the turn. You can't get too comfortable in this game, you guys. I thought it was over when these guys had the inline track. I thought it was over when they got stopped by Monkey. Now I'm thinking it's over because it looks like the Xenomorphs are going to win again. It's very back and forth, isn't it? Cobalt gets the 8 of diamonds way back there. I'll put there so you can see that. And then Santa is going to get the... I'm sorry, Robo Kringle is also going to get a 6. Dane gets the 3. Oh, man, that's not good, is it? And then our aliens are going to get a 10 and a 5. So this guy has to make his recovery roll at a -2. Trying to recover from shock, he gets a 3. He is still shocked. That's it for his turn. And then who goes next? Cobalt is going to trundle his way forward. And then here's the beautiful part. I had to take that off so it fits in the box. So Cobalt is going to be right over here, just beneath the command center. See how that works? I think, can you see him through the window there? No, you can't. There he is, right through the window there. Okay, so next turn he may be able to do some good, but for right now, he can't. Moving on, 6 is Robo Kringle is now in close range. He's going to take the shot at this guy, and that is close range. Robo Kringle is going to miss with a 4, and then this guy gets to move 5 inches. How close is he to the nativity scene? Kind of bending around. He's going to fall an inch short. He is very close to getting there, but Dane now is going to take a shot. He goes on the 3, and do we take the shot, or is he's 5 inches away, or do we fight him? Decisions. My man is a brawler. We're moving in for the kill. We're going to jump on his back. Maybe swap positions. And, well, they're both brawlers, so this may be a bit of a mistake. So Dane wins the first roll-off. 8 versus a 2. Remember, using D20s or D10s, just subtract 10 if it's more than 10. So the 8 and the 2 becomes a 5. He still wins by 3. And then we have a wound roll, which is going to be a 9. That turns into an 8 because of the armor. And doesn't it? Doesn't it? The 8 with an armor, he's just wounded. So this xenomorph caught him. He jumps on his back, and then he says, I'm going to trade places with you. So that xenomorph is going to have to start the next turn by rolling for recovery. The cards have been shuffled. Let's see if Cobalt can finally get into the mix. Oh, that's a good card. He might. Then it's Robo Kringle. Oh, and then it's Dane. And then, oh man, this really is not going the way that these guys needed. Do we get, oh, we get a king though. Bunch of high rollers today, huh? So we got 3 kings. It's a Christmas miracle. We 3 kings. How about that, huh? You can't write this stuff, guys. This is why we play the games. These little bits of serendipity are just, they're magic, aren't they? Meanwhile, where are we at? We've got hearts goes before diamonds. So Robo Kringle is going to trundle on up to here. He can only move 2 inches, which is probably right about there. And then he's going to go ahead and, he's going to take the shot at this guy. And he is at -2 on this shot altogether. So a 1 will be a total miss. But it was still a lot of fun. So that's the King of Hearts. And then the King of Diamonds gets to go. Now, he only gets to move 1.5 inches, but let's go ahead and jump on Robo Kringle here. We're going to go ahead. We get the reroll. Why not? The red-suited robot will be rolling the red die this time. And our blue die does get the reroll. Robo Kringle does not. The blue die rolls a 1 and then another 1, so he loses both of those. The wound roll is at -1. A 5 is going to be a triple shock, and I think, something happens here. Yeah, that 6 becomes a 5 for the armor, and then because of the shock, we go 6, 7. So he falls down with a wound. Then Lieutenant Dane gets to go, and he's going to kick a Grinch when he's down. He says, your heart might be 3 sizes too small, but that doesn't make any difference to me. So we're going to fight, and this guy now is at a total of -2 to his fight check, but he does get the reroll. And Lieutenant Dane will call that a 4, so Dane says, yeah, I want to reroll. So he gets an 8 now, and our alien who's down might as well reroll, see if we can beat the 8. So normally this would be a tie, except that with the -2 for being down and wounded, Lieutenant Dane is going to win, and that's going to be a wound check at -1. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Kind of messed up. Yep. There we go. Okay. So normally 7 is going to become, is going to stay at a 7, and that is a second wound delivered to the alien who's down. Get away from my crash, you... Well, we don't use that kind of language here in the House of Wargaming, but you know the alien reference I'm making. And then Cobalt is going to show up and say, hey, fellas, I heard we're doing some kind of a Home Alone. What? Oh, my goodness. And he can move to here. That's 4 inches, and that's all he can do for this turn. And our last alien can only make a recovery check. He is at a total of -2, and with a result of a 3, I think he's just still wounded, isn't he? Result of a 3, still wounded. He can crawl away, but, I mean, what's the point? We'll kind of drag him around here. And, yeah, I guess old Lieutenant Dane is swinging paint pots down the staircase, right? Oh, did that green Xeno Grinch step on sticky tarry nails? You guys hungry? Are you ready for more? I could probably come up with some A Christmas Story references as well. Lieutenant Dane is brawling because he doesn't want to shoot his eye out. How about that, huh? You know, we like going for the low-hanging fruit here. As always, Cobalt goes first, Lieutenant Dane, and then we've got 2 aliens. We get a reroll, and we get a reroll. So the aliens are going to get to go first. This alien is going to have to make his recovery check because he's still wounded. And with an 8, -2 is a 6. And I think that means he can stand up, but he's still... A 6, yeah, he can stand up, but he's still hurting pretty bad. And because he stood up, he can move into combat. And we'll do this again. Now he's at -2. Now, that means our alien has lost by 2. But we might as well go ahead and re-roll that. And suddenly, instead of losing by 2, our alien has won by, well, that's an 8, so it's won by 4, and Lieutenant Dane is going to do his reroll and get a 7, which means Lieutenant Dane has only lost by 1. And with an 8 on the wound check, now that's a straight wound check, you know. He is wounded. So now Lieutenant Dane goes down. So dramatic. Ugh. Look at that. Although I think that should be a 6 because we've got 2 wounds over here. I think that applies on the wound roll as well. Then it will be Lieutenant Dane's turn to try and recover from his wounding. And he is going to roll a total of 1, which puts him out of action. Oh, this just got really tight. So a heroic defense, Kevin Dane, but it just wasn't meant to be. Cobalt, having finally arrived to the party, is going to give up the bonus for aiming to move over here in front of the creche. And then he's going to take a shot at this guy. He only needs a 5 or better to hit. With a 9, he will hit. That's very rude. Come on, let's be polite here, guys. With a 9, he'll hit. And this is going to be a total of -1 on the wound. We can get that card out of here. This would be a total of -1. So 4 minus 3, that is a shock to this alien who is just piling them up. And then Robo Santa gets to go. And Robo Santa is going to kick a man when he's down. Now, Robo Santa is fighting an alien who is at a total of -4, but does get the reroll. The red-coated Fat Jolly Robot is rolling the red die. With a total of -4, he's going to win the... We can reroll that. Do we want to reroll and see if we get a little better? As of right now, he has only lost by 2. I think it's probably as good as it's going to get. Here's our reroll. And with a 10, -3, +1 for the armor, that becomes an 8. That is another shock. And each one of these adds 1 to the wound roll. And then he has a -1 for his armor. So this becomes, and because he's prone, he gets to add 1 more. So he's actually at a total of +1, 2, 3. This is the one we dropped down. He's at +4, -1. That's a 13. He is still eliminated from the game. So we are now down to just one Xenogrinch who is still trying to steal the joy from the Whovilians. I guess this is the AstroTour it's the Whovilian Mall, something like that. Hey, there's all kinds of great kind of Christmas stuff. None of them as good as the Peanuts Christmas special, which actually does highlight the fact of what we're celebrating, and it's not something dopey like family. Come on, it's the birth of our Lord and Savior, guys. Get it together. 8 for our boss. 10, and for the guy, it's a 9. So Robo Kringle is going to get the first action, and he's going to tootle on 2 inches over here to clear line of sight around the tree. He is within 6 inches, so he only needs a 5 or better to hit. And with a 7, this roll is going to be at a total of +2 for the wound roll. And with a 9, that is going to do it. Robo Kringle has saved Christmas from the Xenogrinches. He was the first one on. Oh, you know, I guess he probably would have been at -1 for that, but he still hit, even with a -1 for being shocked. So even though Robo Kringle was shocked, he gets the last shot off. I do think we have to give some credit to Cobalt for hustling on over. If he had lungs, he would be panting for breath. Hey, guys, I got here. Thanks for waiting for me. You know, so it all came together in the end, and I think we're going to have a very Merry Christmas after all. And along about this moment, Cindy Lou Magic Space Baby shows up and says, hey, foster father, what is... And then he gets to come over, and he gets to meet and say hi to Robo Kringle and tell Robo Kringle what he wants for Christmas. Every year, he asked for a new family, but this is the year where he got a new family. It might be a little bit on the unusual side, but family is what you make of it. Make sure you take care of your families this year, guys. And for the entire family here at the House of Wargaming, Merry Christmas.